we were very fortunate on The Office that Greg Daniels, the creator of The Office, was very collaborative. So he really wanted people to be bringing themselves to the role. And I had several meetings with the writers, and I brought home family pictures. And like, I have this really kind of white trash family in Washington State. And I brought in a lot of pictures of them. So I think that gave him the idea of like Dwight having like a muscle car. And then I have a lot of farmer ancestors from the Midwest. So I think the beet farm, although the beet farm came from Greg Daniels because his great-great-grandparents had a beet farm in Poland.
Does your character have there's a beet farm in
yeah.
Okay.
Boy, you really don't. You don't even know that Dwight has a beet farm. You are...
What? That sounds obscure to me.
That's the whole premise of season 2+.
Yeah, Dwight has a beet farm.
You say
and
it's on
he's a
Netflix, I'm going to check it out.
No longer. Peacock now.
Okay.
So it was really interactive. You know, like I got to throw in story ideas, character ideas. They wrote for my voice. I tried to capture what they wanted from the character.
Oh.
So it was just one of the reasons the show I think was so successful is because it was just an amalgam of the actors, the writers, the producers, the editors, all kind of working together to create something kind of greater than themselves.
The show felt different at the time too. Were you guys going to make it? Was that an intent to like, well, this is going to be not like things on television? We're going to slap people in the face with different.
Yeah, it was an interesting balance because obviously the British Office is very dark. The British Office is also like 30 minutes long episodes. You can't do that on network TV. It's got to be 21 minutes and 45 seconds or
the
something
commercials
like that.
and the ads.
Yeah. So much shorter episodes, like a quarter shorter. And but we wanted it to be an accessible network show that was funny and fun for the whole family. But at the same time, it was a documentary style, mockumentary, poorly lit, kind of regular looking people. It wasn't a lot of, like supermodel-ish kind of people. I mean, Jim and Pam are kind of attractive, but little. But so it was very, very different than what was on network. And NBC, honestly, they never knew what to do with us. They were so confused that the show was popular. They wanted to cancel it, and then it was popular. They didn't know how to have other shows that matched with it. They just
what do you pair it with, right?
They did not know what to do.
Well, and that's the question is always what's next, too, right? And you're like, we're going to do this for a while.
And I tried to do a Dwight spinoff, which we created.
That might have been interesting.
And I was like, I was kind of like, I guess I'll be like Frasier did Frasier spinoff. And they passed on it. And honestly, they would probably have $1 billion more in the bank if they had picked up the Dwight spinoff. Would it have been as good as The Office? No. Would it have been half as good? Yes. Would it be playing on streaming services, and getting a really large audience? Absolutely. Definitely. It would have. Yeah. And, they really...
Did they even try it? Like, did they do a pilot and stuff?
We did what's called a backdoor pilot. So there was an episode of The Office that was about Dwight inheriting his beet farm and trying to turn it into a bed and breakfast. Mm-hmm. And then that was kind of like, this is where the show would live.
Right.
And Thomas Middleditch, who was from Silicon Valley, he was cast as my brother on the show. So we discovered Thomas Middleditch. I bet
that would have been very nice. Very nice. I bet that would have been great chemistry. I would like to see that. No place to see this, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, you can still see the episode called The Farm, but they cut a lot of the stuff out of it. But it gives you a little sense.